Hello and welcome to the new 2024-2025 football season. And this is the first episode of this season's Dressing Room Debrief, which took us to Chelsea against Manchester City at Stamford Bridge, the first game for Chelsea Football Club. And I'm not going to lie, coming into it, I wasn't expecting much, judging by the pre-season that wasn't great. Shipping in goals, lost to Celtic 4-1, lost to Man City 4-2. We drew to Inter Milan, lost to Real Madrid, and we only got one win against Club America. So yeah, the sort of expectations weren't too high going into this game, and I did expect us to lose to Manchester City. I think the biggest thing for me going into the new season was how disconnected I feel from the club right now. I feel like there's not just me, it's a lot of fans that feel this way. It's probably the first season in a while where I haven't looked forward to the first game of the season. Normally there's that excitement, that hope, that anticipation, but this time it was just gone. And I think mainly that is down to the owners and how they've dealt with the club since coming in from Roman Abramovich. Their scattergun approach to just signing loads of players with so-called potential, which is also down to the sporting directors. Players that are unproven. They've got potential. They're really young, but football is also a game where you need to win in the now, and it's also good to have a mixture of experience as well as the young players that they can learn from. I also think that the selling and the treatment of homegrown players like Chalobah and Gallagher, Mountains, previous seasons hasn't helped. I think that getting rid of all our homegrown talent to suit PSR on the books as total profit. I just think it's been an absolute shambles, to be honest. And I think the chanting of Gallagher's name throughout the Manchester City game was aimed at the owners, to be honest. And I think that says all about how the fans feel about the treatment of them. I mean, Chalobah is probably better than any of the centre backs that we've bought in over the last few seasons, and yet we're trying to get rid of him. Gallagher, are any of the players that we're buying in at the moment better than him? I wouldn't say he's of the quality that's going to make Chelsea, champions again or competing for Champions Leagues, but at least he cared and he tried. And the fans, love players like that. And I also think that's quite annoying is obviously Todd Bowley's the face of the sort of, criticism and everything at the moment. But I actually think it's better Behad Egg Barley that's mainly behind it all, and he's getting away with murder, I think. Because I think he's, especially with Pochettino last season, we come to the end of the season with actually looking quite positive, hopeful. We finished the season well. We had a style of play, and I think a lot of fans probably thought, yes, going into this season, they were quite looking forward to it. And then we sacked him a couple of days after the season because of the fact that we wanted to sell all these players that he didn't want to let go. And yeah, it's just really frustrating, to be honest. So yeah, I expected defeat. I thought that large spells of the game, I thought we actually played quite positively, well in terms of possession, keeping possession, and what Maresca's philosophy is about. Especially considering that in pre-season we kept giving the ball away and it cost us loads of goals, and I didn't think the defense were going to be good enough to play out from the back. But one thing I will say, and this is just a personal criticism and a personal view of possession football, I don't really like it. And I thought that we lacked a cutting edge against Manchester City when we didn't really create many chances, even though we had a lot of the ball. So yeah, we looked a lot more organised than I thought we would, considering we had an absolute shock in pre-season. But it didn't really, I'm a bit pessimistic about the performance just because I felt like Manchester City didn't even get out of first gear, weren't even at their best. And if you want to play Manchester City, probably playing them in the first game of the season at home as well is probably the best time to play them. They didn't even have Rodri, who in my opinion is their best player. Goes under the radar a lot of the work he does for them. And yeah, it's quite disappointing that their first goal obviously was when you can't afford to ball watch, and I felt Colwell was ball watching and should have been aware of where one of the best strikers in the world was, and he just ghosted in behind him. So that was frustrating, but I felt like some players didn't play too badly, especially Lavia. I thought, considering he'd been injured basically the whole of last season. I thought we come in and played really well. It's just frustrating that we've spent £1 billion and we've still not addressed the fact that we need a world-class striker who can finish some of these chances. And I don't think we've sorted the goalkeeper position out either. We've got 7 or 8 goalkeepers on the books, and not one of them's world-class. I think the best of them is Petrovic, and like Chalobah and Gallagher, we've treated him shockingly. I think he's better than Sanchez. I don't think Sanchez is good enough to be the goalkeeper, the starting goalkeeper for Chelsea Football Club. He makes too many mistakes, like the Kovacic shot. I felt he should have saved. He flapped at it. And yeah, it's just really frustrating hearing this project. Like Maresca said in his pre-match press conference, that no one's mentioned top 4 to him. It's a 5 to 10 year project. But Chelsea Football Club are used to sort of fighting for titles, being in the Champions League, and that's like the bare minimum. And football, I think people forget, is about the now. Otherwise, you lose complete sort of, you go off the rails completely with this so-called project. I think that if you don't win here and now, then you might as well pack it in, because you have to be winning. Otherwise, inevitably Maresca will be the next one out the door. So yeah, hopefully on Thursday in the Conference League playoff against Servette, we'll win, taking a nice lead into the second leg, and then hopefully a good performance against Wolves where we get the first 3 points of the season.